Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. I am Ranjani Rangan from CharmHealth Marketing, and I am thrilled to have you all here today. We have an exciting presentation today on modernizing patient experiences and how a tech partner can give your practice a competitive edge. This webinar is in collaboration with our IT partner, Nisum. Our presenters today are Samantha Goniea. She'll be taking her Q&A in the end. Ramesh, Dontha, and Tina Wung. A bit about Nisum. Nisum is a renowned provider of innovative custom solutions and has a proven track record of driving digital transformation across various industries, including healthcare. They possess extensive expertise in technology and data-driven strategies, making them an ideal IT partner to help you transform your practice into a powerful tool for improving patient outcomes. We are grateful to have Nisum here today with us. As an attendee of today's webinar, you are eligible for a 20% discount on the upcoming CharmHealth conference that's happening Labor Day weekend. I'll share more information about the conference in the chat window. CharmHealth is a fantastic retreat by the beach, offering you the opportunity to connect with the diverse charm community, learn from charm experts. You'll be able to meet partners, you'll be able to meet Nisum, and exchange your innovative ideas and find inspiration to grow. The conference will be held on the beautiful location of Monterey Peninsula, California, providing a perfect setting for a memorable Labor Day weekend. We welcome you to bring your family as well. Before we dive into this presentation, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. If you have any questions during the session, please type them into the question box into your Zoom control panel. Samantha will address them. She may address them during the presentation, or she may do it towards the end. Samantha, if you want to let me know how you'll address the questions, that'd be great. And we'll definitely have a dedicated Q&A at the end. Now, without further ado, I will pass the baton over to Ramesh, who will take us through today's presentation, and then he will then pass it over to Tina. Thank you so much.
Hey, welcome everyone, and myself. I work with both CharmHealth as well as Nisum. So that's why I'm here to some extent be the bridge between CharmHealth and Nisum. And just a very quick intro about me. And so I'm an entrepreneur. We built a startup working with CharmHealth, EMR into our healthcare startup. And I'm also an investor. I invest in multiple startups. I'm a published author and a podcast host. So, but extensively focused on digital transformation, right? So I've worked in large companies doing digital transformation, and in the process, I worked with Nisum, bringing companies to on the digital transformation side. So that's a quick intro about me. And the reason I'm here is to give an industry context, the healthcare industry context to this digital transformation. If you know, digital transformation as a word has come into being last probably 6 years ago, or I would say 10 years ago. But in the healthcare industry, which is considered a laggard in digital transformation, it has picked up in the last few years, like 4 to 5 years or so. It's because of policy, it's because of other forces that forcing healthcare industry to be more digitally aware and all that stuff. So this particular study that I'm sharing with you, it was very fascinating to me, and I wanted to share with you, and this came out in the last couple of years, so it's a very recent data. So what this is telling us, right? So the first slide, they're saying the healthcare leaders who are leading these companies, but it could be a large company, or it could be mid-scale, but when they go ahead with a digital transformation engagement, what do they expect out of this, right? So what are the outcomes expected from a digital transformation? Right on top, at the very top is a better consumer, patient, and engagement. Okay, so that's 92% of people expect better patient engagement to come out of the digital transformation investment. The reason that's fascinating to me is further down, the fourth line is the revenue growth. So they're saying that 36% of them, or 32%, they're expecting revenue growth or improved cost efficiencies from the digital transformation. That is counter to other industries I've seen. It's surprising because you expect companies to say, I want to grow my revenues, I want to reduce my costs out of this digital transformation implementation that we'll be doing. And the reason it is the case here in this, because they know it's been lagging in this space, right? So the healthcare leaders now, they have to catch up. That's why this better patient engagement is the thing that they expect, and as a result, they expect revenues to go up, and in the process, like some costs to go down as well. So that's the reason that's fascinating to me. And if you go to the next slide, in the next slide, then okay, fine, that is what their expectations are. But what is the reality? Like, are they really putting money into the digital transformation? And then lo and behold, what we see is that actually significant amount of investment is going into the patient experiences engagement as a top, right? That's where the money is going into, to make it a better experience. And then secondly, of course, on this cyber tech or digital IT, going to the cloud, those things. So those are the top two that the money is going into, as opposed to clinical care delivery, which is the main thing for a practitioner. So it's not just expecting, but actually they're actually investing into it. So if I'm a practitioner, right, or if I run a practice facility, the question that comes to my mind, other companies in my industry are doing this. If I'm not doing it, I'll be lagging behind, so I have to do it. And if I'm already doing it, this is the area that I need to focus on, right? So then the question comes to my mind is, then who do I go with? Who are my tech partners that I'm going to partner with on this journey? And in my experience, there are three classes, general broad classes of this tech providers that are in the industry. One is a large scale tech provider. They have hundreds of thousands of employees, and then they cater to Fortune 100, Fortune 50. It's a large scale companies, right? And the challenge with them is that they cannot scale down to practices that are mid scale. And let me go to the other end of the spectrum, where you have a mom and pop kind of a providers. They can fix your laptops, and they can provide a website, or they can do digital marketing. But the challenge with them is they cannot scale up. Like if you have a Salesforce implementation, or you have a ERP implementation, or you want to go to the cloud, it cannot scale up. So this mid-range of tech providers, partners that are there, and I would put Nisum is the premier of that segment, where they can either scale up depending on your needs, or they can scale down, right? So if you want to grow your practice, then you want to grow with a partner that can help you scale up, right? So that is where, so Nisum, with their focus on innovation, and then they come from a background where, from the retail is where they started. That's where the better consumer experience, actually a lot of investments went into it. So that is their thing. And then they actually took that best practices and then went into healthcare and other industries. So that's the reason that I started working with them. And secondly, I want to work with a tech partner that will take me on a journey from the beginning of the concept to the requirements to the implementation. And then I don't know many things, right? If I'm a practitioner, a practice facility, I don't know latest technologies. I don't need to know. But I want somebody who is really on the cutting edge of the technologies and the innovation and walks me through that one. So that's the reason that I started working with Nisum and taking some of the practices that I work with and so with Nisum. So with that context, now let me hand off to Tina to walk you through what Nisum can offer.
Thank you so much, Ramesh. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today to hopefully learn a little bit about CharmHealth, CharmALot, and also Nisum. We're a very proud partner of CharmHealth. I am Tina Wung. I lead sales and marketing and growth for Nisum. And today I would love to just share with you a little bit about how Nisum has helped our healthcare partners really bring their experiences and their digital transformation to life to increase their revenue and also improve their patient satisfaction. And so, going off of what Ramesh had talked about, we're seeing a lot of different trends within the healthcare industry and within our partners. Also, we're seeing very similar trends, whether it is outside of the healthcare industry, because I would say that businesses in general are really grappling with the same types of challenges and trends that digital transformation has enabled. So firstly, we have personalized patient care. Obviously, this is a very top challenge that you guys are all solving, as Ramesh pointed out. And what we're really seeing is that patients are more and more demanding a better experience when they're going to see their healthcare provider. Whether it is more seamless experiences in terms of their scheduling or their payment, or even the interaction that they're having with their healthcare provider, they're really demanding a lot more of that. And part of it is because healthcare is so expensive and patients are shouldering a lot more of the burden of their actual payments. Insurance is pushing more and more onto the patients. And so, patients are really being a lot more discerning in terms of who they go to and who they get care from. And the next trend that we're seeing, if we want to move on to the next trend here, is connected systems and streamlined data. And all of this is really driving to a better patient experience and more personalized patient experience because of the wealth of data that providers and practices are able to get. Not only providers and practices, but also insurance companies and the ancillary networks that are giving this patient care. So I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with disparate data sources, disparate systems, and you guys are all probably wanting to make sure that it's all connected, it's all seamless, and also that you're able to get a very holistic view of your patients at any time, anywhere. The next one, if we want to move on to that, is taking those systems and the data and really being able to utilize that and digest it and understand it in a really easily accessible and easy to understand way. And so that's really the UI and UX piece of this. And so I'm sure for you, you want to make sure that all of that information is presented in a very easy to understand way that is at your fingertips. You can pull the reports, the information that you need, that you're able to gain the insights about your practice or about your patients, very readily available, and help you make better business decisions. And so that is something that Nisum has encountered for a lot of different providers, as well as businesses outside of the healthcare industry. And then lastly, we have data security. So connected off of the burgeoning, accessibility of data is that there comes the threat of more security breaches, more cybersecurity hacks, and even, theft is on the rise, whether it's physical or digital. And so here at Nisum, we are very, very committed to protecting and enhancing your data security so that you won't, you will be able to protect all of that data that you have about your practice and, of course, about your patients. And so if we move on to the next slide, what I'd really like to be able to share is that Nisum, we are a specialized technology consulting partner, okay? And our core competency is focusing on designing and building custom digital platforms that are going to drive really great experiences for your business and your patient population. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you also have off-the-shelf platforms or products or databases that you use. Obviously, CharmHealth is a great example here. I'm sure a lot of you use Epic or Cerner systems. And what Nisum can also do is help you integrate your tech stack all together so it does deliver you a seamless experience. We can help you implement them if that's something that you need support on. And also, we can help you customize it. We've heard over and over that a lot of these off-the-shelf products are really good for getting you to a certain place you need to be in your practice, but you wish that it had more customizability to serve your own practice's needs. And so Nisum, we can help you with all of those aspects. And we have 3 primary focus areas within our service solutions. If we go on to the next step here, is that we focus on 3 key areas. The first one is data. So we talked a lot about data already, and we have a business intelligence team who can help you take all of your data, unify it, and really understand it to be able to draw those insights about your business and about your practice and your patients. So we have a lot of foundational data work like unification or reporting, visualization, all the way up to very advanced analytics and predictive modeling. And then the second service area is digital engineering, which is where we actually do the custom development of the platforms and experiences you're wanting to deliver. Then thirdly, we have member experiences. So all of that, patient-facing or ecosystem-facing experiences that you want your practice to provide, we can build those. And then lastly, connecting it all together, if we go on to the next step, is our business agility area, where we really manage all of our delivery and engagements in a very fast and agile manner. Obviously, your practices and your business are constantly evolving on the go. You guys are wanting to adapt the latest technology or keep a pulse on your patient desires. And so we make sure to help you deliver that in a very fast and agile manner with agile and lean methodology. So then if we go on to the next area, what we can talk about are just a few ways that we would be able to help you and your practice with these different service areas. So when I talked about data, there's a variety of ways that Nisum can help. From demand and surge planning, which is basically, trying to understand what kind of patient demand or service demand you're going to get and when, and be able to plan for that. Planning your labor, optimizing your scheduling. A lot we've heard about is helping process your invoice and your claims in a faster manner and being able to extract the data from your invoices and claims to be able to make sure that the data quality is there, you're submitting the right claims, coding it correctly, etc. And then doing omni-channel patient transparency. So that's basically understanding your patient at all of the different patient life cycles, and not just when they're coming into your practice. Doing intake automation, doing data integration across all of your partners and your vendors, and then also data management platforms that will just help you manage your data in a more seamless and interconnected way. Then if we move on to the digital engineering piece of our service, a lot of it is like what I talked about in terms of implementing, customizing your platforms like your EHR, your EMR platforms, doing processing, making sure that your website or your patient portals are up and running, making sure that they're reliable, accessible, doing any integrations. And also, if you have any type of equipment management or med tech, supply chain, then we can obviously take a look at that and help you implement software that will allow you to have a very smooth supply chain and inventory management. And that, goes along with the logistics and transportation as well. So digital engineering, we can really help build your architecture and infrastructure and get all of the pieces working so that you can provide really great member experiences. And on the member experiences side, what we see, if we want to move on to the next step here on this slide, is, delivering all those really great member experiences that we talked about, whether it's making a portal easier to navigate, whether it's giving more optionality for scheduling appointments or vaccine scheduling, or finding the right providers or pharmacies, or understanding the benefits or things like that. And even I've talked to several practices where they're very, very interested in RPA, so RPM, remote patient monitoring, implementing more telehealth and telemedicine capabilities. Now, these are all areas that will help not only your members have a wider variety of channels to get provided, or patient experiences and patient services from your practice area, but also it allow you to bring in new revenue streams and to be able to not limit just your revenue channels with what your physical office is able to provide. And then lastly, we have our business agility practice, which, like I said, can help. If we want to move on to the next step, is deliver all of our engagements in an agile manner, but we can also help consult with your practice to make sure that you're running in a very agile and fast way, so that you are constantly being able to deliver your services in a very fast and adaptive way to the way that our environment is changing and what our patients are demanding. So then if we go to the next slide, one thing that I just want to touch upon is Nisum's clientele base. So the first thing that I want to share is that we have over 20 years of experience, and a lot of that actually comes from the retail industry. So our very first client was Gap. And now you may be wondering, well, what does this have to do with my healthcare practice? And actually it has a lot. So retail, I'm sure everybody here is a consumer of retail. You've probably purchased, clothing or household items or books or toys online. And if you look at some of the leading retail companies, their customer service is amazing. Their purchase experience online is really smooth. The delivery, if you're handling returns, when you talk to customer support, they know exactly what you're calling in about. And really, retail has set that standard of expectation for a lot of other industries in terms of a great digital experience. And the healthcare sector has a lot to learn from retail. And so if we move on, if we go on to the next step, you can see that for Nisum, we have helped bridge that gap between what the healthcare industry is experiencing to where they want to go in terms of delivering a really great digital experience for their patients, and not only digital experience, but connecting it with their in-person experience at your practice. And so we have a number of really great clients that I will showcase more specific examples right now. So this is actually a really, really fantastic example of how we bridge retail with the healthcare sector. So one of Nisum's top clients is Safeway. You also may know of them as Albertsons. They have a number of different brands all across the US. And one of the things that we partnered with Safeway doing was during the pandemic, when vaccines were being rolled out very, very quickly. And Safeway has a pharmacy. They also have on-site vaccine administration. And so they wanted to roll out the ease of patients being able to schedule their vaccine appointment just right on the Safeway app. And so Nisum built that feature and functionality within Safeway's application. And we were actually the first vaccine scheduling appointment in the market, beating Safeway's competitors, Walgreens and CVS specifically. And so they were one of the main destinations and one of the first destinations for millions and millions of people wanting to get their COVID-19 vaccine. And that drove a lot of demand, and all because it was so easy and simple to find availability for their vaccine, schedule an appointment, and just go to their nearest Safeway. So this is a great example of bringing value directly to their patients in the channel that they're looking to have that experience on, especially when it's already integrated within, their Safeway app. They can do it when they're grocery shopping or integrated into their normal lives. Very, very simple and fast. And we were able to bring it to the market ahead of their competitors. Now, the next case study that I want to look at is Albertsons. So Albertsons is the parent company of Safeway, and they own a pharmacy partner, or actually they own a pharmacy subsidiary called Avia, AVIA, and they the purpose of Avia is to deliver benefits and RXs to their patients network. And so it has a lot of different benefits, like savings card, like being able to find medication, being able to find pricing, locating pharmacies, et cetera, et cetera. And so what Nisum did was we built their portal for them. And as you can see here, it is a very easy, simple to use, very user-friendly portal where members are able to do a variety of things, get their free prescription savings card, get discounts, they're able to find medications, they're able to locate where they'll be able to get them. There's also pricing features integrated in here on the back end. And also doing a lot of administrative functionality, which will enable a variety of different communication methods. You can see here on the screen that there's texting, there's email, there's saving their content in the person's computer, being able to print it out, etc. And also there's a lot of integration with different databases on the back end. So it builds in functionality of mapping, of Google Maps probably in the background. It ingests third-party pharmacy data. So Nisum built this portal, not only the user interface, but also the back end, so that it connects a variety of information and delivers it to the member who is searching for things all the same place at the same time. And I think that's one thing that we can really relate to, is that, we as consumers, our lives are so busy, and there's nothing worse than having to go sign on to, 4 different locations in order to get an entire picture of your healthcare, maybe your benefits, your claims, etc. And so having it all in one place is something that, that Albertsons is striving to do, particularly with this benefits administration platform. And Nisum is enabling it on the front end and the back end. So then if we go to the next case study spotlight, this is something that I really, really love. Now, this is more in the life sciences space, so perhaps a little bit less relevant to our audience specifically today. However, one of our clients is called Science 37, and they are a virtual clinic or virtual clinical trial company. And they are really an upstart, one of the companies that is pioneering how large pharmaceutical companies are testing their drugs before they go onto the marketplace. And Science 37 really turned this industry on its head, where the industry was traditionally brick and mortar, running drug trials with patients having to come into a location to get their drug administered and monitored, et cetera, Science 37 is actually bringing virtual clinical trials to the forefront. And Nisum is extremely proud of partnering with Science 37. We have actually built their entire virtual clinical trial platform, which allows the trials to be run online and to be able to monitor the patient's progress with each of the drugs through their clinical trial pages. And not only does this allow drug testing to be done much more quickly, but it also allows the footprint to be expanded massively. So the platform that Nisum built for Science 37 has through Science 37's growth has expanded to many different countries around the world. It allows Science 37 to build drug testing trials much faster, and also it saves costs. And more importantly, it reaches underrepresented populations that have not been part of historically clinical trials before because of physical limitations. So we're really proud of partnering with Science 37 because we like to champion change and we like to partner with pioneering companies who are doing that. And then our last example here, I'll just go through it quickly, is with a company called Collective Health. And they are a benefits administration platform, and their platform it aggregates and administers all of the different benefits for a particular member in a centralized location. And we, very similar to the Albertsons Avia example, Nisum has built this portal for them, integrated all of the different data sources, and is delivering this experience to members in a very user-friendly, holistic way. And then that concludes our examples of some of the client work that we've done within the healthcare space. And just very quickly, if we want to click through these next three, yes, exactly. So, why Nisum, do you ask? Well, I have an answer. We pride ourselves in a couple things. Now, the first one is that we are a mid-sized company. We're about 2,000 people. And because of that, we have a little bit of a tighter client roster than many of our competitors who are hundreds of thousands of employees large do. And we like that. We like partnering with a smaller number of clients because we can really give you white glove service. Okay. So, when you partner with more of a mid-sized company, you get the range of capabilities that a larger company has, but you really get white glove service from all the way our executive leadership to very seasoned experts. You'll always have an A team, really paying attention to your account. The next thing that I talked about is custom solutions. So we are not a product company. We're not a SaaS company. We don't come out with, a SaaS platform or product that we're trying to make fit into your business. We really take the time to understand your business and what your needs are, your environment, and we build that for you. Now, it could be totally a build 100% from the ground up. Or, like I mentioned before, it could be taking a platform that you have purchased off the shelf, and we customize that for you, whether it's custom applications, custom connectivity to other databases or platforms. We make the solution that you want. And then lastly, we have very high quality delivery, very similar to our white glove service. The quality of our delivery is excellent, and we guarantee 100% delivery completion. We invest in our client satisfaction. So it's not like, we fulfill a project and then we just leave. We make sure that you're really satisfied, and we'll take our work all the way through the end. And I can't count how many times a client has called us, or perhaps a new client has called us and said, wow, we worked with one of your competitors, and unfortunately they either didn't finish the job or they didn't do high quality work. And so we really need you to step in and finish it. We've encountered this so many times. And because of that, we continually invest in our people, and we make sure that our value of customer satisfaction and high quality delivery is ingrained with them. So I think with that being said, we can move on to the next slide. And really open it up to any questions that you all have. Hopefully some of these things that I talked about resonated with you. And I would love to hear some of your challenges, what you're hearing from, your own ecosystem, your network, your member network, patients feedback. And I'd love to see how Nisum can help you. I think I'll turn it over to Sam and Ranjani for Q&A.
All right. So off to you, Sam, to take over for the Q&A.
Awesome. And we do have a couple of questions, actually. I think the first one would probably be great for Tina. Says, what steps do you take to make sure client data is secure?
Yeah, thank you, Katarina. That is such a great question. So Nisum, we are an technology consulting partner, and we work with some of the biggest brands, retailers, companies in the world, as you have seen from our slide there. And all of these companies face challenges with their security, with their data breaches, with their own consumer, member, or patient in data. And Nisum, I'm proud to say, we are SOC 2 certified. We're also ISO certified. And so what we do is we make sure that we put in practice all of the very standard data security practices that are out there in sort of like the governing bodies of technology. We make sure to use those practices and those principles in all of our delivery work. And also the nature of our work, for a lot of it, is that we do not work as in depth with housing the proprietary data from our clients as much as we can. Oftentimes we're building the applications, we're building the infrastructure in the back end, we're connecting the data sources, but the proprietary data remains with our clients and in their secure databases. So it's not as much of a challenge for us. And in our 23 years of existence, we have worked with probably hundreds of millions, if not billions of data records. And we have never had a problem with a client having a data breach on something that we have built for them. Thanks for your question, Katarina. Okay, so it looks like the next question. Sam, do you want to read it?
Yeah, we got one more question. Can you provide a range for the cost of your services? I'm a solo practitioner interested in a tech partner, but I'm also working on a limited budget.
Yeah, sure. So I would love to give you an answer, like saying, we have a $4.99 special or something like that. Unfortunately, because our costs are, or because the services that we provide are so customized and so dependent upon what the client is asking for, I can't really give you, a certain range. But what I can tell you are some of the client profiles that we've had and also our engagement models. So the types of clients that we work with run from, startup to venture backed all the way to large enterprises. And Science 37 is a great example. So they were actually a startup when we first started engaging with them back in 2016. And they were VC backed and they IPO'd a few years after we started working with them. And so they had also a limited budget, but over time, as they grew, then we grew along with them. But their investment in us was multiple smaller than it is today. So that I hope gives you a little bit of confidence. We'd love to speak with you. Also, the other thing that I want to say is that we have a variety of different engagement models. The one that may be very attractive to you, one is staff augmentation. So that is if your practice needs a tech person, a developer, a business analyst, a data intelligence person. We can give you a team of 1, 2, 3, whatever your budget allows, and that may help you get the support and the resources you need for a more cost-effective way. Or we can also do project-based engagement. So that is like, if you have migration work to be done, or if you want to implement something, if you want to build an app to do RPM, we can do that for you. And it'll be a fixed amount, but you can do payment plans. You can do phased approaches. We do that a lot, where we implement like a proof of concept, a POC, to make sure you like it, it's working, it can scale with you. And then we can build on top of that as your investment grows. And lastly, I do want to say that Nisum uses a global workforce, and a lot of our very cost-effective resources are in India and Pakistan. And so oftentimes our clients really love that, because they can get high quality technology development work for a fraction of the cost of what it would cost here in the US. So if you want to reach out to me, I would love to hear what your needs are, and we can talk about a path that works for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Tina. And we have one more question that just came through. How have you helped clients customize their platforms, and what does that look like if I have an off-the-shelf platform versus a custom platform?
Yeah, so that is a great question. We know that a lot of healthcare providers and also practitioners and practices, there's a lot of P's in this industry. There are very common platforms that are used, and also, I mean, even in other industries as well. There are a lot of off-the-shelf platforms that people use, and we have done a lot with our clients within healthcare or in other industries. Is that, like I said before, we can take a look at your tech stack. We can see what needs to be implemented, what needs to be integrated with each other. We can do an evaluation of the platforms that you're using today and how perhaps you have some gaps in your operational feasibility, or maybe the patient experience you want to deliver, and we can certainly build applications on top of that, whether it's modules, whether it's telehealth experiences or whatnot. We have extensive experience in doing that.
Awesome. And I think that's our last question.
There's actually one more, Sam.
Yeah, they asked how they can contact us. So that's perfect, because that was the last thing we were going to cover, is next steps, which is our team will be sending out an email to today's attendees. We are offering a complimentary technology consultation call with Tina. So anyone interested in learning more, we can go ahead and get that call set up, and you can have a discussion about your specific needs. We'll walk through the different options that make the most sense for you, and include our email and contact information. We also have our website here on screen, nisum.com, and our email, which is solutions@nisum.com. So feel free to reach out to us as well. But we will be following up with everyone, and thank all of you for taking time out of your busy day to join us.